Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. The 890 jump from Origin is coming in a 3.6.x patch very soon, and we have seen a lot of the ship over the last few months. In fact, it's very much anticipated by the community. So I wanted to put a video together as sort of a visual dessert and a bit of information about what we know about the ship and its interior and its dimensions so far. It's a massive luxury ship and I'm very excited for it. The 890 jump has 68 rooms and is 210 meters long. That is significantly larger than we originally thought it was, and then it even increased in size to like 199 meters, and now it's even bigger. When we get it in 3.6.x, it can only be spawned at Lawville and Area 18, at least that's what they've said. That's at first anyway. Ship-to-station docking and/or larger pads will later enable it to land and dock at more locations. Let's look at the lower decks to start with though. Its cargo bay can carry and deploy a ballista, so we've got that Anvil ballista, that big missile vehicle now, and that can actually move it around the verse and deploy it via its cargo elevator. It also has a hangar that is able to carry two 85Xs, and that's on the other side of the ship. It's a big heavy ship, so we are unsure of how well it's going to be able to fly in or escape from any given planet or moon's atmosphere. Again, in the cargo bay, some of its components are situated. It's larger components typically, so like the jump drive, gravity generator, and lots of the other larger ones. Either side of the cargo bay are engine rooms. Up the stairs from the cargo bay is a crew deck, where some of the crew are going to work and live, with the kitchen and galley, which serves the rest of the ship, like restaurants and things like that. There's an elevator in that kitchen so the crew can move around, and there's going to be enough room for a few chefs there. There's a recreation room with pool table for the crew, EVA suit pods. They showed a rank of 7 there. That then leads on to an airlock, and the idea here is that you are able to put on an EVA suit as the crew before you go into a potentially decompressed area, such as, in this case, the Hangar Bay. So you'd move into the Hangar Bay from here, and the Hangar Bay sort of roof opens, and then the hangar floor raises up. So then the floor of the hangar is now on the exterior of the ship to allow very easy entry and exit for ships to land, take off, and that sort of stuff, and then be protected when they're drawn back into the ship. There's a basketball court in there as well. If there's basketballs, I suspect we'll be able to chuck them around with little physics games or whatever, or just literally just chuck them. They've got the usable system in now, so hopefully we'll have to interact with things like basketballs a lot more easily. In that hangar bay as well, there is additional room on each of the sides of the hangar bay for additional cargo, which is very useful. The little grav plates, maglev plates, whatever the hell they're called, there, so you can hold some more cargo. There's a door that leads up to the sort of manned top turret, and another door that leads to the belly turret. They are both manned, so this is the access and exit area for them. So moving to the other side of the ship, so the opposite side from where the kitchen and sort of rec room and those EVA suits are, there is a little area for like a waiting room for guests, so that they can wait there in the lobby while they're waiting to get in a ship, or they've just arrived and they're waiting to be let onto the rest of the ship. This leads on to rooms for the crew as well, so there's like sleeping area for the crew, individual rooms there. There's ladders and lifts here as well, so that allows for people to get around the ship in the event their ship is powered down, but also a lift if it's not powered down. And then when you move up in the lifts, you'll be on the sort of mid decks, and the mid decks are the guest decks, effectively, where the guests will be living, but also where all the luxury things are. So you'll have this large atrium, which if you ascend, I believe it leads to the bridge, or at least the upper decks, but the atrium also leads to various sort of areas for guests. There's a spa area with lockers, showers, saunas, a circular jacuzzi with water wall. There's a glass bottom to that jacuzzi as well, where effectively it's a fish tank underneath it. So eventually we'll have fish and various plants and other things there, rather than just the rocks and coral and stuff that's there at the moment. There is a large swimming pool there as well. Water is supposed to be rapidly pumped out of any swimming pools or water areas should the ship get under attack, is the idea, and like maybe they close up as well. I believe there are still plans for water in zero gravity as well though, so we'll have to see what happens with that. That will be a way off. Away from that spa area, there is a large restaurant and bar with tables and seating for what appears to be a few dozen guests, which leads on to a meeting room behind it with 10 seats. But you sort of like can imagine here NPCs being able to be bartenders. They've been working on that for a while now, serving guests, serving other players, whatever. But that's a huge social area for players to explore, to have meetings in, to sort of like experience the game more socially and chilled, but also sort of like bask in the luxury of being able to afford such a stupidly luxurious ship. Again, on the lower decks, though, there is also a battle bridge that gives you full access to be able to pilot the ship, but also engage effectively in combat in a more protected and secure environment. The assumption here is that you'll be able to see remotely from this sort of like captain's chair here, or like a view screen or a remote camera, something like that. There's 3 stations there. One's a captain's chair, but there's also 2 more gunner-focused stations there as well. Down the corridor from there, there's an armory with storage cupboards for weapons and armor, and then down the corridor from that, there is a small medical bay as well. Up to the top deck and the bridge. The bridge has 3 stations: pilot, co-pilot, and engineering. There is a holo map as well there, so you can visualize where you're going and point to things you want to go and explore. There's component cupboards in the bridge room as well, a huge window for viewing space. It's actually pretty small bridge-wise for such a massive ship anyway, but I suppose it's all that the ship needs, and it's more focused on its interior and being a luxury ship more than anything else. It did appear that there was 2 doors in there, one which I believe leads to the atrium, so like the top of the atrium at the top of the stairs, but there's also a side door which leads somewhere else, I'm assuming to the captain's quarters. Gameplay wise, it sounds like it's supposed to cater for guests and giving luxury to certain players and NPCs, while also having gameplay for staffing the ship if you want to, you know, cook food for guests maybe, and serve them or whatever. In the short term, it's going to be a giant party tour boat, as the transport gameplay is limited and there isn't anything for VIP gameplay and missions at the moment. However, CIG have been prototyping an FPS mission involving the 890 jump. If this is a defend or assault mission, then I will be extremely happy. The ship is going to be by far the largest ship we've had in-game when it is released in 3.61x. But what do you think? Are you excited for the 890 jump? Do you not see a use for it because it's like a luxury ship and you're like, well, there's so many more effective focus ships to do much more interesting and sort of like combat-related gameplay? Do you think it's sort of like a loot pinata? If you're a pirate, you're like, oh my god, yeah, I just attacked this with just a few combat ships and we can take it down. Do you think the 890 jump is going to be an incredibly effective mission running ship like I do? I suspect that it's going to be very, very useful for small to medium-sized orgs as like flagship, and even for medium-sized groups as their sort of like sole or core mission running ship, because you'll be able to have this big cargo bay. You're going to be able to have all this room for ships and stuff like that as well. It's going to be able to deploy that ballista, so obviously you could take a different ground vehicle, a smaller one, if you wanted, and then be able to run ground missions and stuff like that. But you'll also be able to potentially remove the 285Xs and put a different ship in there as well, so you'll be able to run a lot of different missions, is my idea from this ship. I am a little worried that it's going to have these like supersized capital ship components for a lot of the stuff, so that you'd have to go in the future to like very specialist facilities to have that sort of stuff repaired and changed. So the costs of running that ship in the future might be incredibly high, and I wouldn't want to use it against like corvettes, large combat ships, torpedo bombers, things like that. I also believe the plan is still to be able to run some of its turrets with computer blades, sort of like giving it a point defense system, or very basic, the AI like turret system for some of its turrets. I am very much looking forward to the ship. I do suspect it's going to be incredibly expensive in Alpha UEC once it's in game. Something for an org to purchase together maybe when we have full persistence. Last time it was on sale, it was for a limited amount of hulls, and there were no upgrades or CCUs for it available. It was $890 as well. Originally it was $600, I think, and then moved up to $890. Don't know if it's going to be increased more if they do sell it again, but I do expect they will sell it again at the anniversary sale or at CitizenCon on the 23rd of November, in a limited quantity though, but also potentially when it's flyable and available in Alpha 3.6.x, there could potentially be a sale of it as well. But whatever your thoughts on the ship, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a giveaway. For August, we are giving away a Drake Corsair bundled with an 8-inch Fire tablet and 12 months of Game Glass. Game Glass makes software, allowing you to turn touchscreen devices, like tablets and mobiles, into immersive controllers for Star Citizen. But not just Star Citizen, Elite Dangerous is getting support next, and there's plans for lots more games to support this. You can use Game Glass for free, but there are paid options as well, giving you even more functionality. Please follow the links down below to get more info or to download. I'm still also shilling for NordVPN. If you're looking for a VPN, they are very cheap and have many benefits over free services. They help protect you and your privacy online, but it also makes it easier to access various websites as well. And there's Shadow 2, giving you remote access to a Windows 10 gaming PC of your very own, so that you can effectively turn any appropriate device, your smartphone, a computer, a laptop, whatever, into this much more beefy machine. Subscription cloud services, in my opinion, are the way forward, and for some are going to be very appealing instead of sort of maintaining their own PC. For all of those, please follow the links below or use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. A massive thank you for watching. Please consider liking and sharing this content, as well as pressing the bell icon to get informed when a video goes live. Consider Patreon or becoming a YouTube member too if you'd like to further support the channel. Thanks for watching, guys. Please take care, and I'll see you in the verse.